You're 16, hunched over a secondhand laptop, building a spreadsheet to track a $400 stock portfolio you funded mowing lawns all summer. 18 years later, you're sitting across a polished conference table from your own limited partners, and the wire that hits your account that quarter clears at $14.2 million. Between those two moments sits a job where a 22-year-old works 80 hours a week for an effective $48 an hour, where the real money is a number printed on a page you legally cannot touch for years, and where firms hire you 2 full years before you've closed a single deal. Level 1. The origin. You're 16. You're not building model rockets like the other kids. You're building a discounted cash flow model because a YouTube video told you that's how you figure out what a company is really worth. You read about a deal called RJR Nabisco, where a firm borrowed billions of dollars it didn't have to buy a company, loaded the debt onto the company itself, and walked away richer no matter what happened. Something shifts. You realize the people who own the businesses make more than the people who run them. You stop wanting to be the CEO. You start wanting to be the guy who owns the CEO. You grind for grades because you've already learned the first rule nobody says out loud. Private equity hires almost exclusively from a short list of target schools. And if your name isn't on the right diploma, the door is closed before you knock. You get into one. You're already 2 moves ahead and you haven't earned $1 yet. Level 2. The Analyst. The base is $110,000. The all-in, with bonus, lands somewhere between $170,000 and $190,000 your first year. Your mom tells everyone at church. You don't tell her you work 80 to 100 hours a week. You don't tell her that at 80 hours, that headline number works out to about $48 an hour, roughly $6 more than a management consultant who sleeps at night. You build pitch books until 3 a.m. You learn the term stub bonus. You learn that the entire group gets sorted into top bucket, mid bucket, and bottom bucket, and that bottom bucket is a quiet message that you won't be promoted. Then, 2 months into the job, before you've closed a single deal, the email arrives. A headhunter. On-cycle recruiting has begun. Private equity firms are now hiring associates 1.5 years to 2 years before the job actually starts, sometimes before you can confidently say what an LBO is. The process moves in a single frantic week. Back-to-back case studies, a modeling test at midnight, an offer that expires in hours. A guy named Dev in your group accepts on the spot in a stairwell. Candidate participation in this circus has quietly dropped from 72% to 59% because some people look at it and walk away. You don't walk away, you sign. You're going to the buy side. You celebrate by sleeping. Level 3. The Associate. You're 24. You made it. The base is around $165,000 and the all-in lands between $275,000 and $450,000. The math finally works. For about a week. Then you learn what the job actually is. You build leveraged buyout models until your eyes blur. You read 200-page confidential information memorandums and write the one paragraph that matters. You sit on diligence calls where lawyers bill more per hour than you make in a day, and carry the profit share that is the entire reason you're here, the thing the whole industry whispers about. You get exactly none of it. The program is 2 years and it has a clean exit at the end, and it's a fork. You go get an MBA, or you get pushed up, or you get pushed out. An associate 1 class above you, a sharp woman named Priya, didn't get the nod. She's at a portfolio company now, in a corporate strategy role, sleeping 8 hours and remembering what her friends look like. She texts you a photo of a sunset. You're at the office. You stare at it for a long time. Level 4. The Vice President. You're 29. You survived the cut, or you came back from business school with $200,000 of debt and a better seat. The total comp now runs $400,000 to $700,000, and for the first time, you get carry points. This is the moment the dangle becomes real, except it doesn't feel like money. It feels like a promise written in a legal document. Your carry vests over years. It pays nothing until the fund actually sells companies for a profit years from now if everything goes right. Here's the part nobody mentions at 22. The firm asks you for a GP commit. To get your slice of the upside, you write a personal check into the very fund you manage, sometimes a number that makes your stomach drop because the partners want your own money on the line next to the investors. You stop being the kid who builds the model. You run the process now. You manage the associates who don't sleep. You sit across from CEOs of companies your fund owns and you ask the questions. You are no longer paid to work. You are paid to be right. Level 5. The Principal. You're 34. The cash compensation runs $400,000 to $600,000. The cash isn't the story anymore. Your carry, on paper, is now worth somewhere between several $100,000 and a few $1 million. On paper, you learn the cruelest sentence in the business. It is not money until it is realized. You learn about the hurdle rate, usually 8%, the return the investors must clear before you see a cent of profit share. You learn about the J-curve, the years early in a fund's life when the numbers look bad on purpose because you've spent money buying companies you haven't fixed yet. You learn about clawback, the clause that can reach back into your pocket and take carry away if later deals go sour. You sit on the boards of the companies you bought. You're the one calling the founder on a Sunday about a number that's 3% light. You source your own deals now. You find the company nobody else has noticed, and the partners watch to see if you can originate. A college friend who went into tech just sold his startup and posted about it. The number was life-changing, and it was real, and it was in his account on a Tuesday. Yours is still on a page. You're patient. You have to be. The whole machine runs on patience. Level 6, the partner. You're 41. The total compensation, salary, and bonus now runs $1.2 million to $2.5 million a year, and that is the small part. This is the year a fund you've been building for 7 years sells its companies. The waterfall pays out. The model is the oldest one in the business, 2 and 20. The firm takes a 2% management fee on the capital every year just to keep the lights on, and 20% of all the profit above the hurdle. That 20% is the carry, and your slice of it, across a fund cycle, runs from a few $1 million to north of $20 million. And at the very top of the mega funds, the senior partners pull tens of millions in a single strong year. And because of how the law treats it, much of that carry is taxed as long-term capital gains, a lower rate than the salary your old college roommate, the surgeon, pays. The dangle was real the whole time. It just took 19 years, and it nearly took your marriage, and it definitely took your 30s. You raise the next fund now. You stand in front of pension funds and sovereign wealth managers and you ask them to trust you with billions, and the only thing that lets you do that is the track record you bled for. The industry is sitting on more than $3.5 trillion in dry powder, money raised and waiting to be deployed, and you are one of the few hundred people in the country trusted to deploy a real piece of it. You're 54, you spun out 2 years ago and raised your own fund with your name on the door, the same way the people you idolized at 16 once did. The carry from 3 different fund vintages is stacking behind you now. The realized and the unrealized. And the wire that clears this quarter is $14.2 million, plus the house that's paid off, plus the second house, plus the GP commit checks you wrote that came back multiplied, plus the kid's tuition that was never a question,